All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Big Moose Weekly, where we talk about everything from real estate, cryptocurrency, whatever is on CNBC.com, anything that's in the news. If it's on the cover of a website, a magazine, or a newspaper, it's open, fair game. And today we do not have our other co-hosts that have been guests here recently. Mr. Jay Kinder is traveling. Woods Davis is away from the office. But we have my good buddy, Jimmy Webb. And Jimmy, for those of you who don't know, he's a very talented man. Jimmy has a lot of special skills. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his background. But the good news is one of his skills happens to be helping real estate professionals, entrepreneurs, and digital marketers get clients online. Turn strangers into clients. Worked really hands-on with Jimmy over the last couple years for sure during the pandemic, and now working together on this old YouTube game. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for asking.
Man, I'm glad you jumped on here. I wish you were here in Puerto Rico in the flesh so you could help make sure everything was set up correctly, but this is going to be the next best thing. So let's just get a little background on where you're at right now before we jump into the big topics.
Man, so we did a little a restart, but we were talking about my finance background. So I was at JP Morgan before this, and in hindsight, I think so. What they did at JP was they offered to pay me to get my Series 7 and 63 over there, and I said, okay, that sounds like a great deal to me. If it don't work out, I can go back to where I came from, and so. What I developed there, you know how you can look back and you can, connect the dots. Well, so that's what I've kind of done here in the real estate game. And so preparing for those tests really prepared me for the real estate exam, because back in the day when I was in school, I was a terrible test taker. I was in ADD, I was seeing therapists and all this sort of thing. Really, I just wasn't engaged in what they were.
That explains so much. Explains so much.
What I did at JP was I developed a system for, taking that test, and so passed those tests on the first tries, and that was fairly simple for me. And then when I met you and started having the conversation around, maybe you should pick up your real estate license, I think you might be good at this thing. There was a test that was the first hurdle that you had to get over, and coming fresh off of getting those licenses over there, I already had that system. So all I had to do was apply that system to this new content I had to learn, and pass that one on the first try. I remember, how you walk out of the test, you've been in there for a couple hours and they give you that piece of paper folded so you can't see it. And I didn't look at it. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to look at it until I get into my truck. So I got in my truck and I was like, and there's two tests, right? So you look at the first one, it said pass. I was like, okay, good. And then I look at the second one and I was like, this is make or break. Yeah. And I went crazy in my truck. Anyway, that's a funny story, but
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So right now, news of the week, man, so you got a finance background, you're in real estate right now. One of the things that you got to know is I started working with Jimmy directly, specifically because I was wanting to launch a YouTube channel and the pandemic hit. I had done a little bit on YouTube. Jimmy had a little, was working with some mutual friends on shooting videos. So he had a certain set of skills. Since then, I think putting our head down and working really, really hard, not only on the video side of things, but just in general, just helping real estate agents in general. We've done a lot with YouTube. You've been working really hard on your YouTube channel, and I think you've helped a lot of people do really, really, really well fast, specifically around, making sure they have the YouTube strategy. And I do want to make sure we dive a little bit into that. But before we do, is there anything in the news this week that you found interesting in reference to, the cryptocurrency? I feel like on Monday, of this week, there was a lot of and correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of a lot of backlash from the SNL skit that happened on Saturday. So there was a lot of volatility, if you will, but I think volatility runs hand in hand in the crypto space.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been focused on working some deals this week, but yeah, I actually made a Facebook post on it might have been Saturday morning before SNL happened, just warning people, hey, if you hold Dogecoin, you might want to exit before Elon takes the stage, just because of what I've seen in the past. And sure enough, it went from 70 cents down to like 50 cents overnight. I woke up and it was at 50 cents, right? So, it's just one of those things. And then I guess this whole week, I noticed my portfolio was down. There was a lot of red going on this week, which scares a lot of people. But to me, that's just, everything's on sale. That's how I view it. I'm a very technical trader, so I look at all sorts of different technical analysis, and I'm looking at good openings, good opportunities to get in when the dips happen, and I can I've gotten fairly good at identifying where the bottoms of those dips are, and yeah, so unfortunately, I didn't buy any this week. Actually, that's not true. I did buy some Cosmos this week, so. Anyway.
Well, the whole thing was, SNL happened on Saturday, obviously Saturday Night Live, but what then happened later was Elon tweeted about no longer accepting Bitcoin for Tesla, and then that's really when because of the energy consumption in fossil fuels, and so if you, I think that's probably the biggest news this week, and the reason why is because. Technically, Tesla didn't sell any of their Bitcoin based upon the news. They did at one point sell, I believe, 10% of their Bitcoin, but they did that just to demonstrate the liquidity of the position. I think that I personally think it was to demonstrate that so that they could justify to their investors buying more in the future. But what was really interesting, and this is, you're going to hear it first, Jimmy. You're going to hear it first right here. I have a prediction. And
what's the prediction?
My prediction is Tesla is going to be making energy efficient miners for cryptocurrency, and that Elon Musk is currently working with the Dogecoin developers. And I believe that the reason that he's making a fuss over the inefficiencies in the space is because he sees an opportunity to create and learn how to make those miners way more efficient. And anyway, I think that that's going to be coming. I think there's going to be a Tesla miner, and I think it's I'm not the only person that thinks that. There's some other people, smarter people than me, that think that. But a lot of people, if you don't know what's in the news, you might not even know that that's possible. But that's something to be watching for. And if Tesla does announce a miner, for the record, if they do announce a miner, there's a couple things you need in order to mine. But here's the argument. The argument is, what is the number one expense for miners? What's the number one expense?
The electricity.
Electricity. And so the argument that when Elon made the tweet, this was on CNBC this week, was that it was actually it's actually counterintuitive, because miners by default are trying to get the lowest cost. And so the way that it was positioned, there was some incongruencies. And that's what this gentleman who was kind of being interviewed of asking, what do you really think's going on, shared his theory of, okay, well, I think what actually is happening is Elon's doing X, Y, and Z. Let me see if I can find it. But what do you think about that?
Man, I think it's a problem that Elon could solve. That's for sure. I mean, he's obviously in that whole, energy space as far as, batteries, innovation with batteries and things of that nature. And so, yeah, I mean, I think, he's got some smart people around him. He's got a pretty big brain himself. So I'm sure they'll come up with something.
So that's my prediction. My prediction is I don't think Elon. Well, after he made that statement, Mark Cuban came out, made a statement, but him and Mark both are behind this Dogecoin. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it. It's not that I don't know. I just don't know ever if I'm pronouncing them correctly. But Dogecoin.
Just don't call it dodgy or doggy coin.
Oh, that's what I'm going to call it, the dog coin, the biscuit, the dog biscuit. So anyway, that's been in the news. There's obviously gas prices. I saw a whole old Hummer lit on fire because people were trying to ration gas prices because of the old pipeline break.
I saw some video of some lady trying to put gas in basically like a grocery bag, just a large grocery bag, and of course it was spilling out of the bottom. Like, I was like, what are these people doing? But apparently it was some people hacked the system, and they paid him $5 million to basically take the handcuffs off. But then I think I got a notification last night that they basically hacked it again. So I don't know where it stands right now. All I know was I drove by the gas station yesterday afternoon and it was $2.50. And then when I came home, it was $2.49. So that's all I know there.
Well, yeah, they say I saw that in some places it was like $9 or something crazy like that.
9.
Yeah, something.
I would have to see that to believe it, but that sounds
yeah,
crazy. $9?
Yeah, I saw somewhere online that gas prices hit. I'm gonna put $9 and see if it.
Let me guess, California.
So it says Charlotte woman says she paid more than $9 a gallon to fill up.
Charlotte.
Yep. In Charlotte.
Man.
Yep. Did gas prices actually go over $9 in California's Death Valley? Gas prices to jump. The bottom line is that they did that. Yeah, it says over $9. USA Today recently rounded up the rates being charged to customers who hadn't prepaid for gas and who returned to their vehicles not full. At many airport location lots, renters would be charged $8.99 per gallon to fill up their car. Avis and budget rental cars at airports in Boston, Dallas, and Denver charged the most at $9.30 a gallon. Crazy. Well, couple other things. What's that?
I'm just looking at the U.S. oil chart right now. Anyway,
what's it saying?
It's just kind of in a. It's close to a setup that I trade. It wouldn't pass the tests that I give it, but I don't know. It's right there at some previous highs on the daily. So anyway, we'll see though. I think it all really comes down to how they handle these hackers,
Well, I know because if they don't handle them correctly, they'll be right back at it again. Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think about the fights, man? What do you think about the fights tonight? You know anything about the fights tonight? Tell me you at least know what's going on in the old MMA world.
Man, I used to be in that world a little bit. I know about big fights.
This is big. This is champion. Yeah, champion.
Who is it tonight?
Well, originally, who was on the card for tonight was Nate Diaz was on the card. He was originally fighting, and they pulled him and moved him for 30 days, which was kind of interesting because, moving him was, some of the argument was moving him and moving him instead of canceling the fight was indicative that there was, because it was medical, that there was something medically going wrong, but they couldn't actually tell you what it was, obviously, but they didn't cancel it if it was something bad. But it's the first time that he's never made a fight due to medical.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, he's an animal. He's not a soft mindseted guy. He's one of those guys like, I'm a soccer guy, and if it's like who's the NFL, like, just hard man, like a Brett Favre, or I saw a Matthew Stafford clip the other day where he literally, it was at the end of the game, guy tackled him, big old defensive tackle, right? Tackled him, and he literally dislocated his shoulder, Matthew Stafford, and then he goes, and then I guess they had a play off, or it was a timeout or something, and he was on the sideline getting checked out, and he's like, he can't play. And his coaches were trying to tell him, his trainers were saying, no, you can't go back in. You can't go back in. And he said, no, I got a right arm. I can throw the ball if you need me. So he literally shoves his coaches out of the way, goes to the head coach. He says, hey, I can go in if you need me to throw the ball. And he goes in, and he throws a touchdown, I think, to the tight end. The camera was just focused on him the whole time. But all you see was his left arm is dangling, and he's like, yeah. And then all his buddies are trying to, high five him and stuff. And he's like, no, okay, here. Anyway, but he's like, he reminds me of somebody like with that attitude, like if he's hurt, you're going to have to drag me out of the ring. I'm not going to go out just because somebody tells me to go out. But it sounds like it must be pretty serious to, actually postpone that fight.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's got to be serious. I'm not exactly sure. The fight tonight is with the first thing is the fight tonight is I think there might be a boxing fight. I know there might be a boxing match. I'm not 100% sure, but from a UFC perspective, there's a new guy that came in. He's the guy that says "see ya" at the top. He came in right after who was it? He came in right after Khabib. When Khabib announced his retirement, they had done something big and got him involved. And anyway, he's fighting tonight, and he's fighting. It's his second fight in the UFC, and he's actually fighting for a championship belt. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
So it'll be nice, man.
All I know about is the June 6th fight. That's the one I know about.
What do you know about the June 6th fight?
The Mayweather.
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, they filed a lawsuit on the promoter. Filed $110 or $120 million lawsuit on the promoter. The fight was originally supposed to be in Dubai, and whatever it is, whatever they call themselves, Mayweather's money team or whatever, production. Anyway, they filed a pretty big lawsuit because the inability, they missed their first payment of $30 million. They were supposed to make a payment of $30 million in March, and they missed the payment. And so whoever this production team was that had basically gotten the contract to promote the fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. I saw where they squared up.
Yeah.
Whoever it was, I can't keep them straight, Logan and Jake, but whoever it was took his hat off his head.
That was Jake. That was the younger brother.
Okay. So, dude, I
got your hat.
Honestly, the first thing that came to my mind was, I wonder if this is all staged.
It ain't staged.
Plan that.
No, it ain't staged. He got a tattoo on his leg afterwards. I saw him the next day, and he had a black eye.
Yeah, he's in that neighborhood over there with y'all, right?
Yeah, he literally lives. If it's walking, Jay's house is right under a mile, and his house is probably, that bridge right by my house, right when you go over the bridge, and there's that little pond. He lives right there. You remember that place that had the gold Hummer? Maybe you might not remembered it. It was the gold wrapped Hummer. I told you a big YouTuber used to. Huh.
I remember the teal. There were like two. It was the same color teal.
That house. That's right? The house. Yeah, that's the house.
That's the one.
Yeah. That's where they live. Yep.
That's cool.
But it's Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler fighting tonight. Michael Chandler's 22-5. Charles is a beast. I mean, it's going to be an amazing fight. And also Tony Ferguson's fighting. Tony Ferguson is on this card tonight, and Ferguson is fighting Benil Derush, I guess. So anyway, it'll be nice. There's a couple good fights, but everybody wants to see this Michael Chandler fight. He's that's really going to be. I mean, if he beats Charles, he's the real deal. He is the real deal anyway, but he's the real deal. Now back to Jake and Logan. Logan's the older brother. Jake's the younger brother, and Jake's, I guess, recently moved out here, but he's the one that got your hat. Him and Mayweather, there's video out there. Him and Mayweather were actually kind of buddies. Mayweather endorsed him. And so I think what happened, I think he said, he called them both fake fighters. That's what it was. So he called them both fake fighters and said that I'll fight both you guys on the same night. And so he was up there promoting the Logan fight, talking shit, to Jake in the crowd. So once they got done with the promotion, Jake ran up on him. And he was like, yeah, get this boy the contract, and then he was like, got your hat, and he ran with it. He didn't get far, and
made it like 2 feet.
Yeah, and then Mayweather, and he should have been able to move faster than that. But anyway, long story short, he didn't get out of there. He's supposedly really fast. I mean, he says, I forget what he says. He runs the 40 in. He wasn't running that fast. He didn't get out of there. He got caught. Anyway, he caught a punch to the face. I seen him getting out of he's got a yellow Jeep, and the true story was my wife asked me to drop off paperwork at Jay's house for school. So I rode my one wheel over there, but I put it in a backpack because it was a bunch of school paperwork. So I put all the school paperwork in my backpack, run over to Jay's, drop it off, coming back. But on the way there, I saw one of these motorcycle type electric vehicles, but it's a motorcycle that holds a golf bag. And I've seen them on the internet before. But on my way there, I saw it, and it was a lady and a man and their young son. And I was crossing over the crosswalk, and I said, oh, is that the one for the golf course? And he was like, yeah, it is. He said, it's a demo. I'm just test driving it. Well, on my way back, I passed their house. I'm almost to the bridge, and I see another guy on the exact same one, and it was a very specific color. And I asked him, and he said, yeah, I'm the dealer. I was the one letting him drive it. He said, would you like to drive it? I said, heck yeah, I want to drive it. So I just jumped on it and then was just going to do the circle. Well, as I'm about to turn, they pull right in front of me because there's a little circle. So that they pull right in front of me right as I'm turning, and then all the doors open and 5 guys jump out of a Jeep, and none of them are small. Jake's a pretty big guy. I mean, he's bigger than you'd think, bigger than I thought he would be. So they all jump out, and he's looking at me because the Mayweather thing happened the other day. I'm in a camo, almost like a dark green army issued T-shirt with matching shorts and black shoes.
I know that outfit.
Yeah. And so it kind of looks like, because he had said Mayweather sent some people to watch him or something, or he said something. So he got out of the car and he's staring at me, and I'm on this motorcycle that's black, with this military green outfit sitting basically in front of by his house, but he just made the turn in front of me. And so he looks and he's staring at me as he walks by, and he didn't say anything. And, they all get out and go inside. He got out of the car with no shirt on, with some Louis Vuitton Christmas looking swim trunks. They might have been boxer shorts. I don't know. But anyway, long story short, that was kind of my run-in with him the first time. I see him all the time. I really do think they train close to here, because I think they go back and forth to the gym all day. I mean, they do that, or they go to Starbucks, because literally their car goes back and forth every single 30 minutes. It'll stop for a couple hours and then it'll start back up into the evening. And they got a lot of people over there too. The first couple weeks it was only Logan and 1 or 2 people, and I thought that was going to be the thing. Now it's kind of there's people standing in the driveway every day washing something, doing something.
I feel like people like that, they roll pretty deep at all times.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't know anything about them, to be honest with you. I didn't know. I recently started watching some YouTube videos and found them interesting, actually. And so I recently started watching some of the YouTube videos and learned a little bit more. My paradigm changed, my perspective changed, because I think I thought probably they were a lot smaller as far as not only physically, but, popularity wise. But as I watch more, I guess now I'm in the AI's algorithm for watching them, and now they just show up every single day. And I mean, they got content for decades. I mean, there's so much dang. You could go out tomorrow and drive a tractor, and on your way home watch a new television show about like a robber, and on your way home you'll see Logan driving the same tractor, and then you'll see another episode on where he was actually with the actor that played the robber, doing something. You're like, this dude's everywhere. That literally happened. I saw an episode with him where he went in and you remember that big, huge guy that would go in and get you if you're out on bond? The dog, you remember, with the big, long yellow hair? The dog, he would go out and get you a bondsman, or is that what they call him? Bondsman, whatever you call him. Anyway, sure. He went and did, there's a famous one on YouTube, and he went and did an episode with him, and he straight up, this guy was out on bond. It got crazy. They started shooting like fake bullets at the guy's wife. Logan climbs up in some stairs. The guy's got a big wrench. He tackles him, wrestles him down, chokes him out, all on, and he did a couple of those episodes. And I was like, damn, he does a lot for content. Like today, for me, it was like, hey, Jimmy, you want to talk about what's in the news? But I ain't like trying to go wrestle an alligator today or try to do some stupid shit just to get on YouTube and get people to watch. I feel like that's what they do. They're like, oh, I got an idea. We could. Yeah. And then it's insert the craziest situation,
There's a whole algorithm for that. Like I watched a video on how Mr. Beast got popular.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's just about you have to hook them at the beginning, and there are different strategies there. And then there's like, how do you keep them engaged throughout the entire video as long as you can? Right?
Yeah. Oh, I saw Logan. I woke up in the middle. I went to sleep early last night. My mom's in town, and my family got home about 8:30. I'd been asleep for probably 30 minutes. So I wake up. I'm in the downstairs bedroom, and I was watching Sammy Gravano's podcast. I like to watch that. He drops an episode every Monday and Friday. So I was watching the 20-minute Friday episode. I probably made it into 7 minutes, and I was asleep. So I hear my kids, and I wake up, and I'm trying to go back to sleep, but now I got a little rest and I'm not as tired. And anyway, I watch a Logan Paul. I look at my computer. I'm looking for something to watch, and there's a MGK, and I like Machine Gun Kelly. And there's like, oh, he was on the 100th episode of Impulsive. So I'm like, shoot, I'll let that play. I'll probably won't even make it through 6 minutes. And so I end up watching the whole damn thing, not intentionally. I went and got melatonin just to try to go back to sleep. Within the first 5 minutes of him being on the show, he's sitting there on the show on a podcast like this, and a guy walks up with like a silver tray, and he's like, oh, hold on. He calls Machine Gun Kelly by his name. They're both from Ohio, so I think they have a relationship back in Ohio. And he calls him by his name, and he's like, hold on one second, they're going to pierce my belly button. And he like lifts up his shirt, and this guy literally like pierces his belly button on the podcast. But as they
conversation?
What's that?
Mid-conversation?
Yeah, probably 5 minutes in, but it was part of the show. And he looked at the producer. Oh, okay. He looked at the producer. Yeah, they have someone who is, I watched another one. I guess I've been watching a lot of his content, but I watched another one of him and his editor. So his editor used to have his own YouTube channel. But the point is let's talk a little YouTube here before we wrap up. No, what is working? What's the best strategy that you see working for real estate professionals? So Jimmy can build you a funnel. Jimmy can help you run your ads, but more importantly, Jimmy can help you attract customers by leveraging content publishing, which is also known as a digital president strategy. And the great thing about it is, Jimmy, you wrote an offer last night from YouTube. You got people flying in today from YouTube?
Yeah, they just got in about an hour ago. Yeah, we wrote an offer last night. Just waiting to have one addendum signed, and we should win that deal. And then yeah, we've got another one flying in from Orlando. So they're not all coming from California, but they're coming from everywhere. They're coming from all directions. And yeah, I mean the YouTube strategy is, I mean, it's like,
what is the absolute, let's just say there's a real estate agent. First of all, I want two questions.
okay,
Can you do the YouTube strategy being brand new?
1,000%.
And so if you're a new agent, this is a strategy. And does it work better or any worse, whether you're new or you're been a seasoned vet, top producer?
I think it's actually the perfect strategy for a new agent, because here's why. Guess how much money we spent on advertising this YouTube channel?
How much?
A big old goose egg, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that you got to realize, if you're in real estate, you only have two things you can invest: time or money. And one of the last episodes we talked about creating a lead generation plan, a lead generation model, something we do with all of our partners. If you missed that episode, I'll put a link to it in the description, and we'll link it here above somewhere in one of these corners. A little bar will come up and you can just click that and watch it. But don't click it now, because you're about to get into the most important part. You need a lead generation strategy. You need to win before you start. And if you're not going to invest money in your business, you got to invest time. And what you're saying is YouTube is a place where you can actually invest time and get a return.
Oh, the biggest ROI that I've seen. I mean, yeah, I mean, when you're a new agent, right? Generally speaking, most people don't have a ton of money to start. And so, but you do have a lot of time, right? Or if you don't have a lot of time, that is the one thing that you have the most of, right? And so what you do is you invest that. And with YouTube, what's cool is when you invest that time in the beginning, I will say it is a lot of upfront work, right, in the beginning. But what's cool is over time, as these videos start to gain traction, as they start to get more views, these videos are evergreen, meaning they will be out there forever, and they are capable of being searched and being found at any time. I mean, Mike, we have people watching videos at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and guess what? I'm asleep at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And our boy Warren Buffett said, if you don't figure out how to make money while you sleep, you will always be working, right? And so, it's you get to leverage. What you're doing is you're buying time in the beginning by investing your time. And so what I mean by that is, you put in that time up front, shooting the videos, editing, doing all that stuff, planning it out. And, over time, the algorithm will pick you up and put you out in front of more and more and more and more people. And you get phone calls every single day.
So one of the things, for me, I think YouTube is a good place to demonstrate your expertise. One of the things about content, and the reason I think content is such a great strategy is because, unfortunately, if you're going to turn a stranger into a customer, what you'll find is that the more somebody invests time with you, the more they trust you, especially if your content is providing real solutions to problems. So someone from Orlando, let's say, think about it. If someone's from Orlando, and they're moving to Texas, the first challenge they have is, they have to decide where they're going to move. And that could be, different things can be important to different people based upon different reasons. Some could be lifestyle, proximity to work, proximity to grandma in order to help with the kids. So one of the things we've always taught, as an expert advisor, is doing a needs analysis so that when you meet a stranger, you can customize your presentation to really delivering the value that they're looking for. On YouTube, it's not linear, meaning you can, like a second ago, I can link to other relevant content. You might click the link, you might not. At the end of this video, I can insert an end card, which could link to other content that might you may or may not be interested in, but like with me and Logan, I had no idea who he was. The guy moves into the neighborhood. I hear his name. I literally had no idea. I was like you, Jimmy. I mixed them both up. I know both of them and understand them a lot more, and really see that they're pretty damn smart marketers and know a little bit about their past, but all because of YouTube, right? And it wasn't like, YouTube is actually feeding it to me. YouTube is saying, hey, because it's education or entertained. And so one of the things with YouTube is that you can provide content, right? So I can provide you content on why I moved to Puerto Rico, and you could watch it if you wanted to learn a little bit more of, man, why is this guy in Puerto Rico? And then you see a thumbnail, which is our most watched episode, Jimmy, on why me and Jay, really the truth behind why we moved to Puerto Rico. Jay was just in Arizona. He still is. And he said, he literally sent to, check this out. I got to show you this. This is what he sent. Check this out. This is amazing. Check this out. So Jay Kinder, my business partner, sends me a text message, and it says, what's that say? Can you see it?
Everyone is talking about the Puerto Rico. 15 people brought it up. Yeah.
Right. So Jay's now in Arizona, and over 15 people walked up to him day one and says, hey man, I watched your YouTube video around moving to Puerto Rico. Right. And so, that's the power of video. Now I've learned that through internet marketing. One of the things that for me, I learned from a guy by the name of Frank Kern, and people ask me all the time, hey, insert gentleman's name. I'm not gonna bring up his name, but insert gentleman's name who's doing real successful online. He said, you gave him a set of tapes. What tapes did you give him? I said, well, they weren't tapes, they're CDs, but they were the CDs. And basically the CDs were from a guy by the name of Frank Kern, a good friend of mine, who was a great marketer, did like 23.8 million in 24 hours. But what he was teaching really before his time was creating content in an intentional way and delivering it to people where it was more of a funnel, where it's like, well, when they come onto your email list, give them this video, then give them this video. And if you do interest, desire, bonding, trust, proof, and samples, interest, desire, bonding, trust, proof, and samples, which is really top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel content as a content game, like Content Inc., as people started really masterfully teaching after looking back on, hey, content works like this, and here's the best practices and the way. Well, what people have now said is the funnel's no longer linear. It's not like somebody's going to sit around, and in 2004, you might get an email with the video, and if you had the right level of internet, you might be able to watch the video. But then as our phones change and smartphones come out in '05, before you didn't watch video really on your phone. You watched it on the desktop. And so YouTube comes out in '05, smartphones come out in '05. And as people start to adopt different content strategies, now anybody with a smartphone and $100 can be putting content out there online that's quality. And that's the difference of that's what's happening today. And from a real estate perspective, there's just far and few between people who have consistently, that's the word, consistently provided that value to the marketplace. And so one of our things that we're doing is, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, just to piggyback off what you're saying, the consistency is that key. That's how the YouTube algorithm knows that you're serious, right? Like anybody can post a video, but when you post a video 3 times a week, YouTube says, okay. And then if people are watching it, like in the first channel I helped build, people were watching 2.1 of our videos on average. And so, our average video was, 15, 20 minutes long. And so people are watching us for half an hour, 45 minutes at a time. And then within those videos, what do? We say, if you're moving here, then give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and we'll be happy to, help you make a smooth move to Dallas, Texas. And so people call us, right? They shoot us a text. They send us emails at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, like I mentioned earlier. But if you lead with that value, that's what I love so much about this strategy, is because I feel like the other ways that I've marketed in the past, I was always kind of chasing people. But here, I'm putting knowledge out into the world. People are seeing it, they're viewing it, they're getting to know me in the process, and then they call us and they say, "Man, I love what you're doing. I want to work with you." And so it's yeah, I love that. It's a different dynamic, right? When you just have people blowing up your phone, you know, thinking that you're some kind of YouTube celebrity like Jake Paul is, and will you help me buy a house?
Yeah, and they get to build trust. They get to consume in a nonlinear way, meaning, let's say they're getting on a plane. My mom flew on 9 hours to come see me. That she watched some YouTube. If depending on what level of YouTube they have, YouTube allows you to download videos and watch them offline. You can also repurpose those videos. You can still email them out to your email subscribers, so you still can leverage that. But I think YouTube is your new website. And so for me, one of the things that I like to do is I like to partner with real estate agents and help them grow their business. So for me, I'm focused on educating real estate agents that we can actually help them grow their business by helping them grow their business. And if you would like help growing your business, make sure you go check out Listing Class. Little pause there. We actually update Listing Class. We've helped the guy, quick story, Blake Weaver, 52 transactions last year, 38 transactions in the first quarter of this year. Already brought 3 agents on his team, partnered with us in January. His business is probably going to triple this year. Unbelievable story. If you want to know how that works and what's working right now, the best offers, if you want to make more money in anything you do, but if you want to specifically do it online, then you got to make compelling offers that get people to reach out to you, even if you're doing YouTube, just like I'm doing right now. If you want to see what I think is one of the most valuable things you can consume, if you're looking how to do business in the current market conditions, make sure you go to Listing Class, listingclass.com. Put a link down in the description. Also, a link at the very end of this video. Check it out. We walk you through the top 3 funnels that are working right now with the most updated numbers. We walk you through everything, the copy, the ad, the landing page, where we run it, how we run it, the follow-up campaign. It's all yours there to swipe and deploy. So back to the YouTube thing, Jimmy. With that being said, right now YouTube is becoming that community president, if you will, the digital president, by consistently building and providing that content to the marketplace. People start to find it, they reach out to you, you do a transaction, and so on and so forth, and you start to build your database, right? And so for you, you've built more than your channel. Right now, one of the things that you're doing is you're helping other people who want to. Well, first of all, here's the biggest challenge that people have: perfectionism and knowing what to say. Perfectionism and knowing what to say. And one of the things that Jimmy's been doing for some of our partners is helping them with a YouTube strategy. And if you're looking to grow your YouTube channel, if you would like to attract clients, turn strangers into customers leveraging YouTube, then Jimmy, if you can give me a link to your calendar, I'll put it in the description. And maybe you can jump on and do a handful of strategy calls with some of these agents across North America that might watch this video. Is that fair enough?
Oh, yeah. I think it's pretty simple. It's just celebrityagentblueprint.com/call, right? So you can go there, schedule a call with me. We can talk about it. But yeah, I mean, it might shock some people. I mean, the first channel I helped build, we started with a phone, and we did get a mic. A mic is important. I think having good audio, good clear audio is important. You can get a good one for, the one we got was a couple $100, So that it just plugged right in to your phone, and that was real simple. And then as far as knowing what to say, you work with us, then I'll give you the templates, the outlines, the calls to action, the breaks in between, all sorts of stuff like that. We'll get you hooked up.
Awesome, man. Well, I know you got some people flying in today. If you're looking at going live on YouTube, if you're looking at building a YouTube channel, make sure you check out getting a free strategy call with Jimmy. I'll put a link again down in the description. Also, if you're looking at growing your business and you'd like more information about how you could partner with us and we could help you take your business to the next level, make sure you go also down to the descriptions and check out partnershipdetails.com. With that being said, Jimmy, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. You told me you have people flying in, deals to negotiate, and any final parting words, brother?
Man, if you've got anybody selling in Dallas, let me know, because I've probably got a buyer for them that would be grateful for the opportunity. So, yeah, let me know. But, Mike, always a pleasure hanging out with you, chopping it up with you. And, yeah, man, let's go crush it.
All right, man, I'll see you at the top.
Or from the top, or at the beach.
Or at the beach.